Be a Nazarite that would be exclusively devoted to God from the womb to the day of his death. And so it happened.
What will you call him?
Samson, son of the sun.
Baby grew, day after day, year after year. His hair was sleek, with 12 locks as a mark of his consecration to God. According to tradition, it should never be cut. And obeyed as they were tied together. Then he was fastened with 20 ropes around his body as though he were a wild beast. The people took him and delivered him to the Philistines to be punished for what he had done.
Now we'll tear your eyes out and burn you!
But while he was surrounded by the Philistines, Samson showed his incredible strength once more. With a violent pull, he freed himself to confront the soldiers with his bare hands. Then he took a bone from the skeleton of an animal and began to whirl it like a club against the men and against their swords until he had defeated them all. After checking round, he mounted a camel and quickly disappeared. Finally, Samson arrived in the city of Gaza, but the Philistines were waiting for him. And that same night they closed the city gates to trap him and to take their revenge. At about midnight, Samson went towards the gate to get out, and he realized then the trap the Philistines had set. With the enormous strength of his bare hands, he tore down the gate and escaped their revenge once more. Samson fled into the valley of Sorek, and when he arrived in a square, he saw a young woman who was drawing water from a well. He looked at her for a long time. Then he dismounted the camel, moved closer, and said,
"Excuse me, I'm thirsty. Will you give me some water to drink?" Who are you?
My name is Delilah, stranger.
You are beautiful and your eyes are wonderful.
I'm a Philistine. Which region do you come from? If you want, you may come into my house.
I am an Israeli and I'm faithful to my God.
Come with me. I'll take you to my father.
Delilah took Samson into her father's home to refresh and to feed him. Samson, enchanted by her, fell in love with her to the extent that he stayed for some time in her home. And then...
Me? How will I do that?
You must try to seduce him and force him to tell you where his strength comes from. You must do this, Delilah.
But he'll never disclose his secret to me.
If you succeed, Delilah, we will give you...
We will give you 1,100 silver pieces. Otherwise, you will lose your father.
Delilah tried every possible means to make Samson divulge his secret, but Samson made fun of her. Threatened by the lords of the Philistines, Delilah tried desperately one last time.
This wine is nectar. Give me some more.
You live in my house, drink my father's wine, sleep under his roof, and have your way with me. But your heart is cold.
Why do you talk to me like that? What have I done?
You don't trust me, Samson, and you don't love me.
Your curiosity is annoying, Delilah.
And you jealously protect your secrets like a child.
My strength is all here, Delilah. It's all in my hair. When I was born, I was consecrated to the God of Israel, and my parents promised that my hair would never be shaven.
It's a gift of your God, then.
The generous wine and Delilah's tenderness made Samson fall asleep. But the Philistines were hidden there, ready to go into action at a sign from Delilah to take Samson and put him in chains. While Samson slept, Delilah, armed with a huge and sharp knife, cut one by one all Samson's plaits and let them fall to the ground. Then She showed herself at her front door and called for the Philistines, who ran up in great number.
Delilah! Delilah! Delilah!
It's useless calling her. Delilah betrayed you, Samson.
There's no need to beat him up. We blinded him.
Now we'll take him to Gaza. He'll push the lever of the well for...
The Philistines took Samson to the city of Gaza and shut him in a prison. The prison of Gaza was a fortress in the center of the city. It was protected by high walls and by an enormous iron gate. Inside it, there was a courtyard with a big millstone. Samson was chained to it and forced to make it turn. The people of the city had become curious because of the fame that preceded Samson's arrival, so they gathered there in great number at the gate and commented upon him.
Did you see what they did to him?
He was the strongest man in the world, and a woman was enough to reduce him to this.
Now Samson had an enormous trouble turning that millstone, because working animals were used to do it generally. Even the last donkey, that the faint light of the moon filtering through a little window.
Lord, I cry my sin. I beg your forgiveness, and I cry my sin, Lord. Forgive me.
Time went by, and the day came when the Philistine princes gathered to celebrate and offer to Dagon, their god, a great sacrifice.
Samson.
The guards should have already killed him. Death to him! Death to him! Death to him!
Go in. The god is waiting for you. Don't make him wait, Samson.
What's the name of this god?
Dagon. He's the greatest and strongest of the Philistines' gods.
But he's a god of stone, a ridiculous god of stone. It's not my god. My god is Jehovah alone, the Almighty.
Go in. The god is waiting for you. Don't make him wait, Samson.
Oh God, Dagon, today we offer sacrifice to you. Almighty God, Dagon, send us your protection.
Samson. You still remember me. I'm no longer afraid of you. Today is your turn to be afraid, because you will be sacrificed to our God.
Don't exult in your victory, Delilah. Look at my hair. It grew back. Jehovah's enemies and all those who betrayed will now be punished.
Helped by the Lord, who gave him back his terrible strength, Samson took great revenge on all the Philistine princes and people that were inside and outdoors of the temple, because the number of Philistines that died beneath the wreckage was greater than the number of those that Samson had killed during his whole life. His brothers and all those in the house of his father set out from their land to take Samson's lifeless body and bring it home with them. His kindred returned back to their lands with the coffin and buried it, and paid homage to Samson in the sepulchre of Manoah, his father. In his youth, Samson had been a judge in Israel for 20 years.